Okay. I think I'll start now. Thank you everybody for joining the session again. My name is Tswani and my co-host is Dedre, and you'll hear us both just interacting with you guys. She will step in where it's necessary, but we're literally co-hosting and we will be helping each other through this training session. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to unmute yourself and ask the question. The reason why we mute everybody is just to minimize the amount of background noise. So if you do have a question, you can either pop us a chat, and please, as I see the chat, I'll try and go into the chat and read the chat as soon as I can, or she'll be able to respond to the chat. But we do want it to be interactive. We don't want things to slip through. So if you are able to just unmute yourself and ask the question, that will be perfect, or you can pop us a chat, whatever suits you best. Okay. What we'll be going through today is actually credit management. We were quite surprised last week because we did actually have the session. We don't know whether it didn't reach you guys. The mail didn't reach the masses, but we only had 3 people. And I still say to the 3 people that actually attended, it was that either you guys have bad paying clients or everybody else is on the large card. But credit management is something that I think it's not everybody that is on the large card. So at this point, you still need effective credit control, and this is why we have this essential function in your quick travel applications. First and foremost, before you actually enforce or set the limits or the credit terms with your clients, you first need to do the setup, which is done in your branch setup. You know that it's not everyone in the organization that is allowed to set up or go into the branch setup. However, if you are interested in setting it up and you know that there is somebody within your environment that can actually go into the branch setup to set it up, please, you're more than welcome to actually give them the steps to actually set it up for you guys, okay? Right, now, to set up your credit limits and your credit terms, that is done in your branch setup, and that is done in the invoicing module. So I'm gonna go into the invoicing module. Select Setup, Company Tables, and Branches. When I select Options, I'll then see the Credit Management tab. I'm going to open up the Credit Management tab and go through what each and every term or what each and every switch actually entails, okay? So firstly, to actually activate the field, you need to make sure that you double-click and activate Credit Management. The second field would literally be to set what terms you would like to actually enforce. What credit terms would you like to enforce for your debtors? And remember, we've actually split this up because you've got the option of setting up for your leisure travelers. If you've got leisure travelers that continuously book with you and you've actually given them the option to pay you back within 30 days or 60 days, whatever the terms that you have with them, you are able to enforce this for your leisure travelers as well. But most people actually focus on their data travelers or data clients. Okay, so the default terms, because we know a lot of people deal with government, I think this was actually extended up to 180 days if I'm actually correct, or maybe it's the age analysis that goes up to 180. Looks like this is up to 150 days. So you can actually decide what is the terms that you're actually granting your client to make sure that payment is received by a certain period, okay? It can be current, it can be 30 days, 60 days. You can stipulate the terms that you would like to enforce for your debtors, okay? And remember, this is not gonna be for all your clients across the board. This is client specific, okay? So I'm just gonna select 30 days in this term and select save, okay? The next thing we'll ask you, what exactly do you want to happen when your client has exceeded the credit terms? Do you want to block it, or do you want to send a warning to the person that's actually doing the invoice? So this is exactly where you'll enforce that measure, whether to block when they've exceeded the credit terms, or do you just want a warning that will just pop up on the message to give you a warning to say, now this client has exceeded their credit terms. But if you want to block it, please make sure that you put a little block in the block data if past credit terms. Sorry about that. Okay. your data statement, you can also add a message to the statement that will be sent to your clients. And this would be a fixed message that you are able to add to the statement. And this will only be applicable to your debtors that have exceeded the credit terms. Okay, so it's not going to send, that fixed message won't go to debtors that are still within their credit terms. It will only go to people that have exceeded their credit terms. Right. Now it goes to the credit limit. So you've decided on the terms. Now you can also enforce a limit to a specific data. Okay, so you can decide, I'll be willing to trade with you, but once you reach a limit of 100,000 or 200,000, whatever the value may be, this is where you will decide whether to you are blocking a specific client based on a value, or you are allowing to trade with them up to a certain value that they've reached. But once they've reached that value, you'd either decide to block them, or you want a warning on the system as well. Okay, this is a bit, we know that TQI is actually going to be beneficial for credit management, because right now you're setting a credit limit, but consultants can still carry on and issue vouchers, hotel vouchers, air ticket. It doesn't give them a warning, it doesn't give them a message. It's only when you start invoicing that you get this warning, or you get this message that this client has actually exceeded their limit, or they're still within limit. However, there's also a report that you guys are able to do either on a weekly basis or on a daily basis that will actually give an indication to the consultants what the credit limit is and what if they've gone over the credit limit. I know consultants are volume based. Well, they just want to boost their sales, whatever the case may be, but you do have the option of communicating to them. This is where the challenge is. I know that's exactly, I know the frustration of accounts people. Siko just mentioned that's the challenge. But if you do send them that report on a weekly, on a daily basis, I think that's another way of trying to enforce the control in your environment, to say, guys, but I gave you the communication, you still went and booked for the client, but, or you've got the authority to actually say, I have blocked it and you're the only one with the password to, okay, from an issuing point, it's difficult, but when you start invoicing, that's when you'll be able to pick up these things. But TQI, this is where the benefit of TQI comes in, because TQI comes and validates what is in QuickTrav. Whether it's a credit limit that's been set, it comes and validates what limit has been set before the consultants actually issues that voucher. So you see now, this is where we are actually going as a business, because we've identified that gap, and now we're saying, now we need to limit that gap by, before they issue, they need to validate that the credit control check has been done. Is the client still within limit, or is the client over limit? I don't know if any of you have joined the TQI DEM, but you will be fascinated if you do join, please. And I hope that you do join. So let me not digress, because TQI is something fascinating and it gets us excited and we lose focus, but let's go back into credit management. Right. So you can also enforce a statement message if the client has gone over limit, over their credit limit. And this will be enforced no credit limits. I still asked Deidre about this morning. And she mentioned that when, okay, I'll reply to you right now, Brenda. When a client is on current, like with their credit terms, the client you've stipulated current, and you actually need to do an invoice for them. If you haven't stipulated a period for that specific client, it will still block them. So it will still pop up a message to warn you or to actually block you. That's exactly what that enforced credit limit for debtors. If you haven't stipulated a period and it's on current, it will either block or warn the person that's actually doing the invoice. Coming back to Brenda's question, she's asked, how do we get information on TQI? Please send an email through to sales@quicksoftware, Brenda, and we'll happily assist you with information on TQI. Okay. The next field is literally just to say, am I allowing a client that's actually blocked to do any transactions if they want to settle direct or they want to use the credit card? Am I allowing that client to actually proceed? If they want to pay you cash, do you want that transaction to go through, or are you actually deciding to block it? Okay. The next field literally just explains everything that I've gone through with you guys, but this is based on your leisure travelers. Okay, so literally everything that we've gone through, but based on your leisure travelers. It's the same settings and it's the same switches, but it's only based on your leisure travelers. So if you want to activate it for your leisure travelers, you're more than welcome to. You can actually enforce more or less the same switches so that it's less confusion for people that are actually invoicing, that you probably do the same rule across the board without causing any confusion. Okay. Now, the override password, because now whether you decide to block it or warn it, you can actually password protect it. So if you put the option to block that no invoices will be done for a client that's gone over their credit terms or their credit limits, by enforcing a password, only you'll be able to actually override that. So this is literally giving you the control again to say, I'm going to password protect it. No one will be able to override or issue anything without me authorizing, or whoever in the environment or in your agency is allowed to override. You can actually put in a password and they won't be able to see the password because it will be encrypted. Okay. Another additional feature that we've added is that it can actually display the credit information on manual invoices. You'll see as I do a fictitious invoice, I'll do an example for you guys shortly. As you do an invoice, it actually displays what the account balance is. So now the person who's actually doing the invoice, if there's a problem, they're able to actually see the problem as they're invoicing, because now the system tells them whether this client has gone over their limit or they're still within limit. Okay. This is also an action that can actually be blocked for automatic invoicing. Okay, and this is mainly for your tickets, right? So the next switch will literally to show client account balances on invoices. Now, whatever invoices you send through to the client, you are still able to reflect that balance. So they actually see what balance, what opening balance they have, or what balance do they actually have with you guys, whether they've gone over the limit or whatever the case may be. Right, same switch will apply. This would be on new invoices, auto display, which is what I prefer because I don't want to constantly manually do things, but you can auto display the debtors account balances on new invoices. Once you've decided on the switches and you've also set your password, that's done from a setup perspective. And all you need to do is click on the save button. I'll close that. So once I've done my setup, are there any questions from a setup perspective? We're actually not completely done with the client setup. Any questions? Okay. I'll assume the silence means no questions. Right, now I need to go into the respective data to actually add the credit limit, because I've only just enforced that I need a limit in place, I need the credit terms in place, but I haven't stipulated against which data I would like to enforce the credit limit or the credit terms. So I'm just going to use my shortcut keys. I'll go into my corporate. I'll click on one I definitely know is quite common. Okay. Didi says we're all good, perfect. Or, okay, I'm sorry, there's people that might know. The shortcut keys for view corporate is the little people in a group, or you can click on setup, go to your clients, and you can select your corporate. Okay, you'll select the corporate that you would like to add the credit terms and the credit limit to or against. When you click on the billings tab, right at the bottom, you'll see that you've got the option of adding what the credit limit would be, what the credit terms would be, and what action to enforce if the limit has been exceeded, and when the terms have been exceeded as well, what action needs to take place. Okay, so I've stipulated against ABC Construction that the credit limit is 500,000. Well, hopefully they don't reach that limit. Okay, and your credit terms, my credit terms is like 30 days. I want money as soon as possible, which obviously doesn't happen all the time. So we do know that. Remember, the system does allow you to go right up to 150 days. Okay, So you've got the option to just set whatever credit terms you would like to enforce. Your credit limit, do you want to block or you don't want to block? So this is also based on how you would like to action when the person does an invoice. Do you want to go and authorize, it will block them from doing the invoice, but you can override it with a password. Perhaps you've got a good relationship and this client decided just to pay you late. You still want the relationship to continue. However, you will book for them, but send them maybe a quite strict message to make sure that they make payment. Okay, so you can still block, you can decide to block or you can decide not to block. And you can also stipulate what is the maximum invoice value. Okay, so this is also from a control point. You don't want obviously to be booking endlessly and there isn't any money coming into your business. So you can decide on the maximum invoice value. Okay, once you've stipulated what the terms are and what the limit is, what action to actually apply when a person has gone overboard, then all you need to do is click on save. Okay, and that's exactly it from a setup point. When you do your new invoices, this is exactly when I'm just going to do a manual one right now. When I do my new invoice, do you see next to line item, there's actually account balance. That account balance then tells the person that's actually doing the invoice. Remember, we can't actually control it from a person who's issuing a voucher or okay, I'll reply to you right now, Naisha. We can't control it from an issuing point, from a voucher or a ticket, actually from vouchers mostly. But this is where at least it displays to them what account, what the balance is, what balance is sitting on the client's account. Okay, Naisha has actually just asked a very important question. Is it possible to have a 7 or 14 days because 30 days is a bit too much? Okay. Now I know Naisha is in Botswana, so I can find out for you. Dedra, are you able to comment on that? Because I know from a system perspective, I remember there was a client who wanted to do this, but I can't remember it quite well. Are we able to apply a 7 or 14-day credit term?
Hello.
Hello.
So sorry, our branch setting only allows for current 30, 60, 90, and however many days. At this point in time, it doesn't. I will play in the background on my data now whilst the session is going on and see if there's any other way to do it. But I'm sorry, at this stage, all I can see in the branch settings is only the ones that we've specified in that client setup. So sorry.
So maybe, Naisha, your option could possibly be current. Then you can do maybe a quick report within 7 days or within 14 days to actually check whether your client has gone over limit or if they've, yeah, I think your best way will be set it as current. I stand to be corrected. Set it as current. I'm going to show you a report that you can actually do, which actually shows you the credit limit that's actually available. That could be a report that you could run within 7 days. But Dedra is also going to check. So I'm open to any suggestions because we learn every day. That's the way I think.
I think what you've suggested, Swani, is a great idea. Set it to current so that you know it never runs into the 30-day terms. And just keep tabs on it. Obviously, I remember when you save it, the system will also quickly bring up that breakdown, so you will have an idea of what's going on. But you'll see that, Nisha, as we go on.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I don't know whether you guys want me to do an actual invoice, but I think the whole idea is actually to let me do one because I actually want to show you the credit control. Now, I'm actually going to copy and paste one. Sorry about that. Let me quickly go into my register. I'll just quickly change the data. This is typical laziness, but it actually works. I'm sorry about that. Okay. All right. So you'll see as I'm about to save, before I actually save my invoice, okay, I think I did that too quickly. If you click on the AC analysis, account analysis, and you click on the credit control, okay, credit terms not exceeded. So your credit control literally gives you, okay, let me click okay. It actually gives you a breakdown of what's currently happening. So it tells you what the credit limit is, what the terms are, because I've actually enforced under ABC Construction a limit of 500,000, and my credit terms should be 30 days. It's on a 30-day term. It tells me what credit is available and what this invoice actually, the invoice total. So if there was a shortfall, it is able to give me that summary as well. And it's also able to give you, based on past figures, if this client is actually exceeded their credit terms. Okay. Do you guys have any questions? I actually see. All good. All clear. Perfect. Okay. Now, the report that I mentioned to you earlier on, it's important that this report is, I think the whole idea behind this report being done in the main module, it's because you often receipt your clients in the, well, you receipt your clients in the main module. So the reason why the report that needs to be done, it has to be done in the main module, because there's money that's come in. Whatever money has come in will then offset whatever balance was sitting on the client. So this report is not going to be done in the invoicing module. It's actually done. I'm just going to cancel this. Maybe just save it to create. I've just done a credit note. Sorry about that. Looks like I've just done a credit note. Okay. I'm going to open up my main module so I can just quickly show you guys how to run that report, showing your credit limit and your credit available. Oh, I should have fixed this long ago. I'm sorry about that. My apologies. Okay, in order for you to run that report, that is going to be done in the main module, and this can be sent out to consultants on a daily or a weekly basis, so that they at least have some sort of knowledge as to how much credit is actually available, and they don't just go ahead and book without actually verifying if the client does have credit available or if they have not exceeded their credit terms. In your main module, under queries, you will select account queries and select movement and aging. Okay, because our focus here is actually on our debtors, but you can select your type, whether it is your ledger travelers or you just want to see debtors and ledgers. But in this case, I will do my debtor clients because I haven't done anything for my ledger travelers. I actually can copy, stop being dwarf. Okay, so that copy icon is literally just to copy whatever field I've populated right up. Okay, yesterday I mentioned when you do your report, you don't have to literally go in and search for each and every text. For people that actually joined, I will use the magnifying glass to search for limit. It tells me what the credit limit is, which is the field I'm actually looking for. So I'm just going to do a quick report, include what the credit limit is. If my delete button can actually work. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so it's actually gonna also sort, right? And besides the credit limit, I also want to see what credit is available. It will help if I could actually type avail. There's my credit available. Okay, because now I've actually included all. Right. So it's selected that. I'm just quickly going to deactivate this because I don't want to show you anything that's actually unnecessary. I'm sorry about this. Okay, I'm just going to do build and view so that I can actually see. Okay. Still has a lot of fields available, but the most important fields that you guys need to focus on would be your credit limit. Oh, geez. I think this has just gone in and activated everything. Okay, there's my credit right on the far right-hand side. Okay, which you guys won't have all these fields. I just by mistake opened up all fields, so I apologize again for that. You've got your credit limit. So it shows you what credit limit has been set against a specific corporate and what credit is actually available. Okay, so this would probably be the best report to probably send to your consultants that are volume-based or volume brainwashed, because they just want to work. So it's also good for them to actually see, it's fine that you guys are working, but now this client owes us this amount of money, or they've exceeded their credit limit. So if you were to send them this report, they'll be able to actually see whether to continue to book for those specific clients or not to book for those specific clients. Okay, so it does look a little bit messy. I'll probably have to clean it up, but literally it can actually give you a summary of what credit is available, how much credit is available, and what the credit limit is that's been set in the invoicing module. Okay, do you guys have any questions? Okay. For those that haven't joined the TQI session, I would definitely recommend that you join the TQI session, because it is something that is definitely going to benefit everybody in the industry. Yes, there are certain minimum requirements that we'll need from a hardware perspective, but majority of our clients have actually moved to bigger servers, and they've actually evolved from a technical point. Although we still have the small agencies, it is something that is a requirement, but hopefully we will have a TQI session so that you guys can actually see what TQI actually does, because that is just literally going to verify everything. Oh, sorry, I've just got a private message from Dedre. We actually have a TQI session on the 29th of July at 1400 hours. It is a bit later in the month. I think we do have to take into consideration there are people running month end, but on the 29th of July at 1400 hours, you're more than welcome to join the TQI session, because then you'll see how effective credit management is. The controls that you've actually enforced in your quick drive applications before the consultants issue, they are forced to actually validate and check that the client has not gone over their credit limit or their credit terms. Okay, but thank you everyone for your time. This was a very short session. If I've missed anything, please, Dedra, you're more than welcome to jump in.
Hi, Swani, everybody. I think you covered everything. Unless there's questions, I think you've done a stellar job. Well done.
Oh, with no connectivity issues today. Hey.
I can't believe it. It's like, woo, woo, first time. We get very excited about connectivity, guys. That just shows it. But in any case, you did well, Swani. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Siholame, you're quite right. That is a problem. The big thing is hopefully this TQI, if you have got Galileo, will be able to assist you. where it will basically stop the consultant in. Do you have Galileo? Can you unblock yourself, sir or ma'am? Sorry, I'm not sure.
It's a lady.
Is it? I'm sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's from Botswana.
I'm sorry, my baby. If you can unmute yourself, then we can have a quick conversation. Or otherwise, can you just tell us in chat, are you on Galileo or Amadeus?
Let me try and unmute her. Let me see if she's still here.
She's on Galileo. My baby, there's a program that we use in conjunction with the Quick Travel, which is called TravelSoft. I don't know if you know about it. The guy's name is David from TravelSoft. I'm sorry, I'm taking over your session, Swani.
No, man, listen to you.
But Swani's just as excited about TQI as I am. Okay, if you have this program from David that's called TravelSoft installed, and you use it in conjunction with this TQI that we have, the consultant will not be able to issue a ticket without checking and validating credit limits and all of that. So it literally stops the consultant from doing anything before even getting to the point of it going on invoicing, because I know and you know, by the time there's invoicing done, it means we've already done this transaction. We've already done the work, the booking, the everything. So please join us. I did put it on there on the July 29th at 2, so that you can see what it does and how it works in a practical way. I think you'll like it. The benefit is absolutely mind-blowing. Okay.
Oh.
I'm going to mute myself now. I think I'm done. Pleasure. No, I'll let you keep the floor.
I'm going to end the meeting. There wasn't any documents to be shared or anything, right?
No, if they want something, let them email us, but let's quickly go through that doc. I had a look at it and I was like, no, not good for, not yet. No. So we'll quickly edit and change, and then we'll send some things through to them, okay?
All right.
Bye-bye, everybody.
We're going to end the meeting now. Thank you, everybody.